This is a story on how an exploding star somewhere in our galaxy and the internal structure of the atomic nucleus can give us the best technology for brain radiosurgery. It all started around 10 billion years ago when a star at the end of its life somewhere in our galaxy exploded in a violent way. In this explosion, two things happened. All the chemical elements that form our planet were created. And at the same time, these chemical elements were spread all through the galaxy. Eventually, by gravitational forces, this debris started to form a disk or a cloud of accumulation. And this led to the formation of our Sun and of the planets of the solar system, including our planet. The elements that were formed in the explosion of the supernova start settling in different layers in our planet. And Cobalt, which is the hero of our story, distributed itself in the Earth crust, which is the upper layer of the surface of the planet where we can have access to it, mining it and using it in our technologies. If you look around you, where do you think you can find some cobalt? Well, most cobalt around you is in batteries. Batteries represent the main use of cobalt in today's world. If you look at the global use, in fact, of this technology, 45% of cobalt is used in electric vehicles, 26% of cobalt is used in portable devices. This amounts for 70% of all the cobalt used in the world. Do you know how much cobalt is in one single electric car? 14 kilograms. And do you know how much cobalt is in one gamma knife? Only 20 grams. This means that, in fact, if you consider all the gamma knives that we have in the world, then one single electric car is able to ensure 10 years of brain radiosurgery globally. The cobalt used inside the gamma knife is a special type of cobalt, which is called Cobalt-60. Now, to understand what is Cobalt-60, we need to understand what is an isotope. And to understand an isotope, we need to look at the internal structure of the atom. The atom is made by a nucleus, which is composed by protons and neutrons, and by an electron cloud all around it. Now, the chemical properties of an atom are determined by the number of protons in the nucleus and by the number of electrons in the cloud. What we can do to modify the nuclear properties of an atom is to change the number of neutrons. When we change the number of neutrons, we are creating an isotope. How do we do that? Well, we start from the Cobalt-59 that came from that exploding star from 10 billion years ago. And then we add one neutron. By adding one neutron, what we are doing, we are storing energy within the nucleus of the atom. It's the same principle of loading or charging a battery. And then this energy can be released in a precise way where is needed. But how do we use the Cobalt-60 technology in today's world? Well, the main application of the Cobalt-60 technology is sterilization. Can you imagine that between 30 to 40% of all single-use medical devices globally are sterilized with Cobalt-60? If you cannot imagine a world without sterilization, then you cannot imagine a world without Cobalt-60. Other applications of Cobalt-60 include the sterilization of food, the applications in aerospace industry for testing of electronics, the sterilization of beehives, and also the sterilization of insects, which allow us to fight the spread of viruses like the Zika virus or the West Nile virus. But why do we use Cobalt-60 for treating the brain? Well, let me give you my 5 favorite reasons why. First of all, high-definition photons emitted from the internal structure of the atomic nucleus. Second reason, the use of tiny radiation sources allow for steep dose gradient and a very sharp penumbra. Then the fact that we can use an array of 192 sources allow us for a geometrical cumulative effect of those fall off that is not achievable with any other technology. And then the physics of Cobalt-60. The fact that the energy released is so narrow and well-defined allows for the minimization of the lateral electron equilibrium. That means that the volume that can be treated with Cobalt-60 is the smallest volume that you can treat with any other technology. And finally, my favorite one, the extracranial dose. The extracranial dose is the dose, the radiation, that is delivered outside the brain to the other organs of the body that do not need to be irradiated. Cobalt-60 and the design of the Gamma Knife allow for minimizing any unnecessary exposure to the body of the patient. And this is much lower than what is achievable with any other technology. The Gamma Knife and the Cobalt-60 are really designed to protect the body of the patient. The Cobalt-60 technology is really a key technology in brain radiosurgery. It allows up to 99% uptime. It is predictable and stable. The energy emitted from the internal structure of the nucleus never changes. And finally, it allows for the highest energy definition possible. Cobalt-60 technology, powered by physics. Thank you.